Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to this live stream and thank you so much for tuning in live. Yes, I'm live right now, so this will be posted after the fact as well for if you can't make it right now. But firstly, I just want to say hello everyone and thank you for tuning into this live stream, and also thank you for everyone who is going to be submitting questions, because this live stream basically, guys, is about you. I do want to share some channel updates first, which we'll get to very shortly. But I just want to share this time with you guys, answer some questions, basically have like a kickback late chat. Just before I do answer any questions, can someone please tell me in the chat if my mic and audio are okay? I think it sounds okay, but I can't test it on my end. So yeah, if someone can let me know if the audio and stuff is okay, then that would be awesome. But we have got some questions already. I'll get to those in a very quick second. But yeah, if someone can in the chat just tell me if my audio and the camera and stuff looks okay. I think it does. And I've also got my laptop ready for this Zoom crashes out, so sorry, this live stream. So yeah, this is the first ever time I'm streaming by myself. I'm usually doing this with like interviewing someone, so it feels quite unusual like doing it by myself, being honest with you. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone who is tuning in right now or after the fact and watching this back. And yeah, basically the reason why I'm doing this live stream today is because very recently I had a milestone hit on the channel where I actually hit 1,000 subscribers, and never did I think 3.5 years ago on YouTube I would ever hit 1,000 subscribers, and that is all thanks to every single one of you who has pressed that red subscribe button and wants to see my face talking about movies or Back to the Future, whatever the case should be. So again, I've just got to thank each and every single one of you for tuning in and also subscribing to the channel. I seriously couldn't do this without you. And if you haven't already, please go check out my one chip challenge, which is the first part of my 1,000 subscriber special. That was brutal, and I've been feeling the effects for the past 2 days. So I'm hoping I'm going to be okay for this stream. So without further ado, before I answer your questions, and I can see there's quite a few comments already, so thank you so much for absolutely hammering the comment box. I want to share some channel updates for you, what's going on a little bit behind the scenes, and what you guys can expect to see going forward. Then I'm going to answer every single question that you guys have. So firstly, if you look at the description box down below, we've already got here where I have recently launched a Patreon. So for anyone that isn't familiar, I actually have got a couple of Patreons at the moment. One of them is an awesome guy called Adam, one is called Tyler, and one is called Michael as well. So I want to thank every single person who's subscribed to the Patreon at the moment. And over there, it is only £2 a month, but I do post my reviews early for anyone to enjoy them, and even sometimes a month before I even publish them onto the channel. I'm also going to be telling you about my schedules that I've got going on. There's going to be a lot more exclusives, and in the future, when I do officially launch t-shirts, which I've actually thought about doing onto the channel, I'm going to be sending all my patrons a t-shirt for absolutely free as well. So that is going to be coming on the Patreon very shortly when I do launch t-shirts. Also on the channel, the Michael J. Fox filmography is going to be resuming next week with the Bright Lights Big City launch with me and Sydney Volpe. So she's going to be joining me under the channel for that collaboration, which is going to be exciting. And in around 2 weeks' time, I'm going to have Back to the Future 2 massive collaboration with about 12 or 13 other YouTubers. So that is coming to the channel very shortly. And I have got some other couple of updates. But firstly, let's get to the questions, because I'm already getting a little bit bombarded. So thank you truly for every single person who wants to leave a question and wants me to answer one. So firstly, the first question comes from Adam, who launched this exclusively on Patreon, and I said those questions would be answered first. And the first question that Adam asked the other day was, what are my favorite movies besides Back to the Future? None. Nah, I'm only kidding. Yeah, so Back to the Future is my number one. That's always going to be my number one. Besides that, I would say like the Dark Knight trilogy. Well, more specifically, Batman Begins and the Dark Knight. I always kind of like flip between the two of which one's my favorite out of the two of them. Both of them are truly incredible movies, and both of them are truly just a cinematic masterpiece. So those two are definitely two of my favorite movies. And a movie that I also kind of grew up on and watched a lot as a kid was the original Toy Story. My mum would show me Toy Story a lot, and I feel like I haven't seen a lot of the classic movies because when I was a young kid, I used to have a lot of times where I would just watch Toy Story on repeat and repeat and repeat. So yeah, I would say those are kind of like my favorite movies. Let's see which other questions we got here as well. So Michael posted here, will this Q&A be posted after it goes live? I'm missing it sadly. So Michael is an awesome guy who's also subscribed to my Patreon, which again is in a link down in the description box. So yeah, Michael, this is going to be posted live after the fact as well, because I appreciate yourself and others may not be able to see this live. So yeah, man, this is going to be live, and yeah, feel free to comment along, or drop me any questions on a video and I'll certainly answer them for you. Yeah, my friend Adam also, what's Jim? Go subscribe to his channel. He has recently just hit over 100 subscribers, which is an awesome milestone, and he definitely deserves it. He covers music, video games. He covers a lot of content, and he said he will be watching it all live. So Adam, you're awesome, man. Thank you very much. D Movie Man, hey D, how's it going? And I hope that you're doing well. So he said, hey Mike, first question. What's been the most rewarding and the most challenging aspect of your YouTube journey? Yeah, awesome question. So I would say probably the most rewarding is seeing the channel grow, but also the fact that people want to hear my opinion on what I love talking about, whether it's a movie, whether it's Back to the Future, whatever the case should be. I love that people want to listen to my opinion, because at the end of the day, you've got people like, say, Chris Duckman, Jeremy Johns, or Beyond the Trailer, whoever, like the big boys, girls, and gender neutral people of YouTube who is on the platform. They've all got these professional opinions. They've built up these reviews and standpoints for years and years now, whereas I'm fairly new to the platform. I have been on for the last 3.5 years on YouTube, but I would say it was only kind of within like the last year and a half where I kind of like really upped my game, started having consistency and stuff. So yeah, just the fact that people have subscribed and I've hit 1,000 subscribers, and also the fact that people want to listen to my opinion. In terms of challenger aspect, I would say, being honest with you, is keeping that consistency, because like a lot of you probably already know, besides YouTube, like anyone who does YouTube for that matter, or anyone who's watching, besides doing like a full-time job, which I work literally nearly Monday to Friday, 8 till 5:15 every single day. But then I also like going to the gym. I also like going to the cinema. I also like spending time with my partner, Emma. I also like going to see my family when I can go see them when I'm not at work. So, and then going to do like the food shop and stuff like that. So I've got a lot of stuff to balance, and then trying to also make videos at the same time. So a lot of the time, when I get a spare hour or two, or say if I'm in the gym training, or say like on the treadmill, which a lot of the time I might do like an hour session, I might tend to watch like a movie then, or at least half it. And I know it's not the best way to watch a movie. I will hold my hands up, but that's kind of the most free time that I get. That's how I watch my movies. So yeah, man, I would say the most challenging aspect is keeping that consistency, then also making content that I want to make at the same time, also making content that you guys want to make as well. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah, so Adam here's got Mike. How are you? Adam, I'm doing great, man. How are you? And Rody here says, not been feeling well recently, had a lot of sad days over health and anxiety, but I'm all good now. Well, Rody, I just want to say I'm so glad to hear that you're doing okay now. And it's great to have those times where we're feeling great, but then it's also good to recognize those times when we aren't feeling great, and maybe having that time to ourselves, or going on some walks, or meeting up with a friend we haven't seen for a while, or a family member we haven't seen for a while, or even just taking that time to yourself and having that kind of like mental space to yourself, because sometimes you need that, and maybe you need to put together a plan of what you want to kind of assess in your life that maybe isn't going so well, and trying to combat that so it's going better for you, whether that's like a change of job, whether that is challenging yourself to do something like going to an event by yourself, or going out for food by yourself, for example. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear that you're doing well, and by all means feel free to drop by the channel anytime, leave any comments, and I'll certainly reply back to you. And yeah, always here if you ever want to talk. Dante's Analysis says, hey, what's up, man? Congrats on the 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, Dante, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. And I believe I met you on my journey a little time ago. I think it was over a movie review I first seen your channel. I can't really remember, going to be completely honest. I think it was like anyway. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I'm doing good, man. How are you? And I hope you're doing well. Video Tasty says, congratulations. Yeah, thank you very much. And if you guys don't know, on May 1st on Video Tasty's channel, I'm going to be doing a Back to the Future watch party, which is going to be awesome. I've never done a watch party before. I'm going to be live on Video Tasty's channel, so feel free to check that out. I will post a link near the time if you do want to check that out. And yeah, guys, I'm using my phone, so sorry if my fingers go over here. Adam says, peace and love to you, Ruddy. We're always here to support you. Yeah, absolutely, Adam. I absolutely definitely recommend that as well. And again, let's go show Roddy some love and go subscribe to the channel also. Noran Rad, hey Noran, how's it going, man? What's up? How's it going? Yeah, everything's going good, man. How are you? And yeah, guys, if you're not too familiar as well, Noran Rad is a really awesome, chilled YouTuber. He loves talking about horrors. He loves talking about movies. He's been doing some rankings of the Leprechaun franchise at the moment and Texas Chainsaw Massacre over on his channel. And also, he recently just tried Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew. I don't know why you'd put spice in a Mountain Dew, but they did it. And yeah, anyway, go check out Noran Rad, a very underrated YouTuber in my opinion. So yeah, definitely go check the guy out. Noran, you're awesome, man. Sorry, guys, just get a quick drink. Right, so D-Movie Man, cool question. So, name some of the earliest videos you made that gained traction with increased views and comments. What was your reaction to that? So, this is a cool story. So, when I first posted my first ever YouTube video, it was with my friend Andy, and we did a season review of Riverdale season 1. So I remember I was over at Andy's house. I said, look, I want to start a YouTube channel. I would love for you to be a guest on my first video, because I didn't feel too comfortable doing it by myself. So yeah, Andy joined me on that video. I love the video. Looking back on it now, could have been trimmed down, sorry. Probably about a good 10 minutes or so. So anyway, the first video that gained traction for my channel and gained views was my second ever review on the channel. And I've been thinking about doing a reaction video to that video. So if you guys want to see that, leave that in the chat below. But the earliest one was the Intent 2. So for anyone who's unfamiliar, here in the UK, we have a cinema chain called Cineworld, which is owned by, I believe, AMC in America. So anyway, you pay a monthly price and you have a cinema pass and you can go unlimited times as you want. I've been to see 4 movies in one day before, and you can literally do that every single day, should you wish to do so. It's so good. Anyway, the Intent 2, I hadn't seen the first one. I hadn't heard anything whatsoever about the second movie, but at the end of the day, I read the synopsis, and it didn't really sound like it followed too much on from the first movie. So I went in blindly and just went to go see it. Anyway, I walked out of that movie. It was honestly terrible. I've not rewatched it since now. If I rewatch it, my opinion might change a little bit. But from what I remember, it wasn't great whatsoever. So I posted that video. I was just brutally honest up front and just said, look, I don't like this movie. I don't recommend it. If you guys want to see it, fair enough, but it wasn't for me. So I posted that video online, and it was slowly gaining odd little tractions. And at this point, I wasn't a master of thumbnails. I'm still not now, but obviously my skills have improved to what it was. So anyway, I posted that video. Slowly, it was gaining traction, and then over time, it was gaining a bit more traction. And all of a sudden, the next day, I looked and it had over 100 more views, then even more. And my reaction to that was, why? Because at the end of the day, especially at that stage on YouTube, that was my second ever video. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I've watched it once since posting that video a good couple of months ago. And I'm just thinking, wow, the cuts in here, there's no trailer footage, there's no movie poster or anything. It was a terrible review on my end. Not so much like again, I was just upfront and honest, straight to the point. But a lot of people could say, well, that was terrible compared to, like, say, if you watch one of my more recent videos where I've gained more experience over time. But my reaction was just kind of probably like yourself, D, or like anyone else who does YouTube videos. When you get a video and it starts taking traction, when you maybe expected to get maybe 20 views, it kind of just bamboozled. And I still am now. Even when my videos do well, I'm still like, why? But definitely don't get me wrong, I'm completely and forever grateful for every single person. So Lego M News, who I recently met, also doing some Lego videos. One question before I go to sleep: what do you think of the new Buzz Lightyear? So do you mean like the Lightyear trailer? I'm assuming that's what you mean, like the Lightyear film coming out. To be honest, the first trailer I wasn't really sold on, but the second trailer that's just came out recently, it's kind of got me more invested for the movie because it seems quite interesting. It seems like it's going to be something that's going to connect in with the Toy Story franchise, which I've heard rumors, which I think it's going to be set in Toy Story. And this is how Andy's going to learn about Buzz Lightyear. So that would kind of make sense. But yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I've always liked Zurg, and I always wish that Ember Zurg got more screen time in the Toy Story movies. I don't think that character got enough screen time. But yeah, I'm very interested in it, and I think it's going to be a great movie. And I think if I get a chance to go see it in IMAX, I think it's going to make that experience far more better. Tyler said, Begins is better. Yeah, man. I think with Batman, like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, I say I love Batman Begins purely for the Batman origin story and really building up from the ground up. I love that movie. And I'll tell you a little bit of a fun fact about it later on because I'm sure there might be more questions about it. But yeah, The Dark Knight is just a masterpiece also. So I'm always between the two of which one's better. Yo, Darnell, what's up, man? He said, "What's up, bro? Congrats on the 1,000 subscribers." Yeah, man. Thank you very much, and thank you for being a part of the channel and subscribing, and also checking out my videos, supporting my channel as well as I support yours. And yeah, if you guys don't know the Michael J. Fox filmography, later on and down the line, there's a movie that he starred in called Mars Attacks, which Darnell is actually joining me for. It is actually on my YouTube private at the moment. It has been for about 6 months. So Darnell, he knows this as well. I haven't forgot about him, but obviously I've got to get to that point in the Michael J. Fox filmography to release that review. And he also says, if you go back to the beginning of your YouTube journey, what advice would you tell your younger self? Great question. So I would say this. Be confident in your own ability. And the reason I say that is because when I look back at my skills that I've gained now compared to then in terms of how I've progressed on YouTube and the confidence I've gained and the fact that I've put myself out there. And last year I got a creator pass for a gaming festival. I would have never have dreamed of that 3 and a bit years ago. I would never have even thought of that. I was very conscious when I shot my YouTube videos. It would always be when my family were out of the house. That's when I would shoot my videos. Whereas now I shoot them, even if my girlfriend's in the house, I shoot my videos. I would say, like, look, I'm going to take a couple of minutes. I'm just going to go shoot my video. I'm going to take half an hour, however long it takes. So I would just say be more confident in yourself and put yourself out there, because the thing is, through this journey, and thanks to Anthony Perez, who I've got to give a big, massive shout out to, which I'm sure a question might come up later and I'll answer a bit further. But through meeting Anthony, I've met the likes of Darnell, I've met the likes of Jacob Martin, Dave from Interpreting Stars, Tajaya from Blacktastic Media, Rashad G from Rashad G Reviews, Justin Lomas, Tyler Babb, Norin, Dante, for example, also in here, Video Tasties, everyone who's commenting on the stream right now and others who aren't checking in right now, I've met all of them through meeting Anthony and also branching out. So I would just say, don't be afraid and branch out, Lego News said, I don't like the Dark Knight trilogy because it's way too realistic. I prefer the Batman. I think that's a bit of a controversial one. Just because, in a sense, the Batman, like the new one with Rob Pattinson, is realistic, for example, because, he's got his tech, like the Batmobile that is in the brand new The Batman movie, Rob Pattinson. That's a more obtainable vehicle compared to Christian Bale style. You're never going to have something that looks like the Tumbler or the plane. That will be very bit more unrealistic compared to Rob Pattinson's version. Just looks up a bit like a souped up supercar in my own opinion. But I get where you're coming from, don't get me wrong. I think it's a tough one, right? Because the Dark Knight trilogy was made in around 2012 time, I believe. I might be wrong on that time scale. Whereas this is a brand new movie that's been in production for about 5 to 7 years, and obviously delayed due to COVID, I believe. And I believe some of that news actually came from my good friend Tyler. So yeah, I can get where you're coming from, but I get where you come from in terms of you prefer the Batman as well over the Dark Knight. For me, I can't really say which one I prefer because they're two complete different movies in two complete times. The Dark Knight trilogy, when that came out, that was the Batman for that era, whereas the Batman with Rob Pattinson is the Batman for this era. So yeah, I think that's a tough one to call, but it's cool to hear that you prefer the Batman, man. That's really cool. Again, the next one is from Superpower Dare Die Team, which is a cool name, by the way. Congrats on the 1,000 subscribers and thanks so much for your support of our channel. Yeah, so I recently came across the Superpower Dare Die Team, which is a very long but cool name. Yeah, they really do some cool shorts. They also do some cool reviews. And I know those guys haven't posted as much lately, but when they do, their reviews are kind of good to stick around for because I find myself really enjoying them. So definitely go check out those guys as well if you haven't already. And then what the Jim says, I get where you're coming from, Lego News, and that could be towards the Dark Knight trilogy or the other comment. But yeah, it's fair enough. Ruddy also says here, growing on YouTube is tough. I've been doing this for a year and only just got over 300 subscribers. So the fact you hit 1,000 is beyond amazing. So firstly, Ruddy, thank you for that comment. Really, really appreciate it. And to be honest, me hitting 1,000, I even get baffled by that a lot of the time. So my best advice for you is this. And, you know, if anyone else has got other advice as well, please leave them in the chat below. So like Roddy or anyone else who's tuning in who wanted maybe try to grow the channels more can. So my advice for you would be this: do what you love doing. Because, for example, I love talking about movies. And don't get me wrong, movies, I love. You know, I love going to the cinema, whether it's just one trip. Like today, I went to see The Lost City, for example. Like, I love doing a cinema trip. But my main passion for me is Back to the Future. And I wish I started doing more Back to the Future content more in my early days of the channel. But I'm still covering a lot more now, don't get me wrong. But, for example, with doing more Back to the Future content, I've got myself into, like, say, 10 or 11 groups on Facebook solely focused on Back to the Future. So when I'm doing a Back to the Future content, I know that some people from those groups are going to come check out the channel, so they're going to be interested because it's about Back to the Future. But I also make scenarios based on real facts. So, for example, just to give you guys a bit of an insight here. So when I post videos very recently, like I did a what if Ben Stiller was cast as Martin McFly, or I've done a Ralph Macchio one before, or I've done like if Jeff Goldblum was Doc Brown. So that is actually based on fact. Those 3 people auditioned for those roles back in the day of Back to the Future. So for me, on YouTube, there is actual footage of Ben Stiller auditioning for Martin McFly. But behind the scenes of that, I thought, well, why not I try to do a different adaptation of that? And it's more the fact of, for me, because I've got that avenue, I'm going to put that together. And don't get me wrong, those videos take a long time to edit and doing the voiceover and creating that scenario of how that would go like. But I love doing Back to the Future because that is a passion of mine. And I think if you're passionate about something, whether it's Back to the Future, whether it's movies, whether it's Lego, whether it is television shows, or whether it is Adventure Days, or, you know, whatever it is you cover on your own respective channel, your passion is going to come across to anyone who views your channel, whether it's a regular viewer or whether it's someone come to your channel for the first ever time. I think for me, that is the most important thing that anyone needs to have in their channel is passion for what they're talking about. Because for a lot of the time, if you just try to talk about what's hot at the time, that's great. But in reality, if you look back on that video, are you really passionate about what you're talking about at the time because it's trendy? You know, so it really is a divide. That works for some people, and by all means, credit and respect to them if it works for them. But for me, I talk about what I'm passionate about. So I hope that helps. D, also another question. So thanks, D, for tuning in, man, and thanks for the questions. I've got quite a few questions here, so I'm trying to get through them as quickly as I can, but give you guys some honest answers as well. Was there ever anyone where you doubted us? Sorry, were there ever moments where you doubted or second guessed being a YouTuber? If so, how did you overcome those thoughts? So firstly, sorry that I'm a bit messed up trying to pronounce that question. D, so awesome question, and I'm not sure if anyone else has felt like this as well. So for me, before I met, and again, I'm going to tell you guys a bit of the story. So before I met Anthony A. Perez, and I'm going to give the guy a lot of credit, and he always says, and we talk pretty much every single day on voice messages and stuff like that. We always have at least our discussions every day, and he's become a really close friend. So on YouTube, in my kind of like first year and a little half, I would say, I felt like I didn't have a set purpose in mind on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, I like talking about movies. I did odd Back to the Future stuff. I did odd Adventure Days. You guys can go back and have a look at the wide array of variety I provided back then. But I didn't feel like I had a sense of purpose. Like I didn't know anyone on YouTube. I didn't have like any like kind of what like day one subscribers coming and checking out those videos. I was doing those videos for sure. I was passionate about them. But at the same time, like as I mentioned, like that Intent 2, I never went to see. So I did that review just because I just fancied that day going to see that movie. So at that moment, it was when I did a review called, what's it called? It was based on Bruce Springsteen anyway, a movie based on him. It's something like Blind and Light. I can't remember what it was called. But when I did a review, Anthony commented on my channel and he was like, awesome review, man. And it was a really nice comment. And it was kind of like the first ever main time I had a nice comment from a random person. I had no idea who they were. So for me, before that moment, I was kind of like, well, is anyone interested in hearing my opinion? Does anyone actually want to watch my videos? So when Anthony left that comment, I was like, wow, clearly someone cares. And from there, I got talking to him. And he, we got talking like every day, and he's talking to me about like his consistency and how he is consistent on the channel, or how he's learned about thumbnails, how he's learned about all these different skills. And for that really helped me in terms of my like mentality towards YouTube, because I wasn't exactly thinking, oh, I'm going to quit YouTube. But at one point I did think, like, why am I doing this for? Like, I am passionate about what I'm talking about. I enjoy doing it, but no one seems to care about my opinion. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect any of you guys who subscribe now to check out every single review that I do. I mean, if you do, that'll be truly awesome because it helps me in the channel. But at the same time, I appreciate that not everyone does. So yeah, I would say that is kind of those. And overcoming the thoughts is building those relationships on YouTube. So I've built them like with Anthony, with Rashad, with Blacktastic, Jacob, D himself, Video Tasties, Adam, Noran, a lot of people. So that's how I kind of overcame it. Video Tasties, it says, do you find editing a chore? At times, yeah. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I love editing, and I love seeing that if I've made a mistake on a video, when I'm talking about a video, that I can overcome that mistake. Like, I like kind of seeing that when I'm doing the editing process. But at the same time, say if I shoot a review, like, for example, I just released a review on my channel for We Need to Talk, which was an early screener. So that video is about maybe 6 minutes long or 6.5 minutes long on the channel. I can't remember the exact time of it. Maybe I'm going to say 7 minutes max. After I've done all the editing, and I talked about this in how I make a YouTube video. For anyone who hasn't seen that, that's also on the channel as well. And I go in depth about how I actually make a YouTube video. So for me, when you shoot a movie review, and I'm sure anyone who does YouTube can kind of sympathize with this as well. When you've shot that video, you're then spending an hour or 2 hours, maybe even more, editing the video, when you just maybe want to release that video and just get that out there and it's done, because you've said everything that you need to. But to make that video more appealing, and in the movie post that's usually on this side, because I'm usually sit on this side, or I add in trailer footage so people know a little bit about the trailer or a little bit about the movie that I'm talking about. So yeah, editing can be a chore, can be fun for sure, but yeah, it can be a chore at the same time. Adam says, I'm doing awesome, thanks. Yeah, man, glad that you're doing well. And yeah, thank you for tuning into this stream. And yeah, sorry guys, I've got quite a few comments here. Wow. Truly, I'm baffled by how many guys are tuned in and how many people's leaving comments. So thank you. I'm going to still try to get them all of them. So yeah, I've read this comment out already, so it's fine. Dante says, I'm doing good, man. How have you been feeling so far? Yeah, so firstly, Dante, I'm glad that you're doing good, and thank you for tuning into this stream. Really, really appreciate it, man. And I'm going to be checking out some of your videos after this stream as well, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But yeah, man, I'm doing good. How you been feeling so far? Do you mean as in terms of the day or after the chip challenge? Because after the chip challenge, I was brutal for a couple of days. Still have been a little bit today. But in general, man, yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. D-Movie Man says, who are some of the earliest YouTubers you connected with and have supported you as a content creator? Biggest one I can truly say is Anthony A. Perez. And I will always shout that guy out. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Anthony, after the stream, go subscribe to Anthony A. Perez. So Anthony, as I mentioned in the story before, Anthony A. Perez was the first one who came across my channel and helped me to develop on thumbnails, develop on and movie posters into my reviews, or trailer footage, or kind of like a layout of doing a review. He has been the biggest one to help me as a content creator, and he's one of the first people I met. Then I also met Dave from Untitled Stars, and Jacob Martin and Rashad. Those are the first 4 people that I connected with truly on YouTube, and who invited me at even such a small stage, even before like 200 or 100 subscribers, for a collaboration on their channel. So I've got to give a big thank you to them. Infinite Media Play, sorry, I need a drink. And thank you for everyone tuned in right now. Wow, truly, I'm honestly blown away. Infinite Media Play says, what's good, Mike? It's Chris. Congrats on the 1,000 milestone. Would you say at times you would let numbers and growth bother you on your journey? How do you stay motivated and consistent? Awesome question. So yeah, firstly, Chris, I'm doing good, man. How are you? I hope that you're doing well. Infinite Media Play, Chris is a smaller channel on the rise. He does movie reviews. He also does vlogs as well and kind of travel videos where he's kind of traveling around America. Go check him out. I love his travel vlogs specifically. I mean, his movie reviews are awesome, don't get me wrong, but the travel vlogs are truly awesome. So give me a moment. So that's just my partner. And so yeah, in terms of answering the question, 2 minutes, guys. Yeah, so in terms of answering the question, sorry about that. So yeah, in terms of answering the question, would you say at times you let the numbers and growth bother you on your journey? Yes and no. So the reason why I say that is truly because at times I feel like on YouTube, and a lot of us may do as well, when we post a video, we want our videos to do well. So with you guys, and with YouTube in general. So whenever I post a video, whether it's an early screener, whether it's an old movie review, a Back to the Future video, Adventure Day, whatever the case should be, I always strive for 50 views because I feel like with 1,000 subscribers, especially now, 50 views isn't a lot to ask for. But at the same time, I don't put myself in a position where I'm like, right, if I don't hit 50 views, that's a failure. I feel like a failure. I don't feel like that whatsoever. Don't get me wrong, I'll check the views and the stats and that for sure. But at the same time, I know like you guys who tune into my channel or anyone that does tune into my channel, over time, my videos will grow. Like any of you guys that post videos, you'll see that maybe you post a video in the first month or so, say it might get 10 views as a pure example. Then over time, all of a sudden in a month, it might have like 100 views, it might blast off and you're like, wow, where did that come from? So yeah, over time it builds up. But yeah, I would say for me, how do I stay motivated? Purely simple answer is you. Every single one of you who tune into my channel keeps me motivated to do what I'm doing because I know that someone cares about what I want to talk about, and for me, that is truly an honor because I love talking about movies. I love talking about Back to the Future. I love going on adventures or gaming festivals, whatever the case should be. But without you tuning into my videos, would anyone watch my videos? Yeah, I might get some random people watching them for sure. But it's just you guys coming back time and time again, commenting on my videos, checking out my videos. That's what keeps me motivated and consistent to make me want to make videos. Trav Try says, what's up, Z? Love the shirt. Well, Trav, man, thank you very much. And thanks for tuning in. And yeah, if you guys don't know, Trav is a food channel where he reviews food and drinks and very awesome, very wacky foods and drinks that he reviews. And also, I have got a review in the Michael J. Fox filmography coming up soon with Trav, where we're going to be talking about Homeward Bound and Homeward Bound 2. So be on the lookout for that. I've never seen them before, so I know that they're going to be like a tearjerker. What the Jim says, what is your favorite Lego set that you own? Well, as of right now, let me show you guys. The brand new Lego Delorean, the UCS one. How cool is this? The flux capacitor lights up as well. Yeah, this one I built very recently on my YouTube channel. I did a speed build as well if you want to check that out. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites because I'm glad I actually made like an actual biggest size DeLorean compared to the Lego Cuso one, which is about maybe the size of that hood. It's tiny. So yeah, let's have a look. So Tyler Bab, sorry guys. Yeah, so the next one is from Tyler Bab. And yeah, Tyler, how's it going, man? Check out Tyler. He has a channel, just Tyler Bab, but he also has a program called The Rendered Image. He also does a podcast of that as well and a Patreon. Tyler is an awesome guy who's also doing reactions. Underrated YouTuber in my own personal opinion. He says, what inspired you to make your YouTube channel? So, good question. I'm going to get a drink. So, what inspired me to make my YouTube channel? So, plain and simple is, I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, I only just started getting into YouTube. Before that time, I didn't have any interest in it whatsoever. I'd play a lot more video games than I did watching YouTube. So when I started YouTube, about 3 and a bit years ago, just before that time, I was working at a place and a work colleague who I just met was like, do you know about Chris Stuckman and movie reviews? I was like, no, I don't really watch YouTube. So I started watching Chris Stuckman. And he posted a couple of reviews. And in those couple of reviews that he posted, I disagreed with his opinion completely. I can't remember like the movies on the top of my head. I'd have to go back to that time to be able to tell you. But I didn't really agree with the opinion. But also in my spare time, I like writing fictional books. So I've always been kind of like a creative person. And I've always liked having like a creative outlet, whether it's my writing or whether it's like doing YouTube, for example, nowadays. But yeah, so for example, watching Chris Stuckman and other like odd movie reviewers, I was just like, I don't really agree with their opinions. And I want to kind of let everyone know like my opinion. Don't get me wrong. In my reviews, I always try and make it come across where I'm not telling you guys, right, you should definitely go see this movie or definitely don't. I want to just give you my own opinion on the movie, but I also try and make it relatable. And that's what I felt like missing a lot of the times from YouTube movie reviewers. Now, don't get me wrong, they're obviously a craft in their own right, and I'm never going to take that away from anyone because that's their own opinions and their own identity. But for me, when I wanted to make a YouTube channel, and I still try to do this now, is I want to make it more like a chat, but also tell you in a general consensus what's good, what's not so good about the movie, overall opinion, and the score. And that's what you get in the review. I don't want to do like anything over convoluted or anything that's massive explanatory in the review. And don't get me wrong, there's awesome people who go in depth in their reviews, and I like watching them for sure. But I like just trying to keep it relevant, simple, and just straight to the point. So what inspired me to make YouTube was basically just a creative outlet where I want to talk about movies and also my love for like Back to the Future and stuff. I know you also asked, Tyler also asks, what are you looking forward to most about Multiverse of Madness? So yeah, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness comes out next month. Not too long now, being honest with you. So it seems the time always seems to be flying by. So what am I most looking forward to? I would say what I'm most looking forward to is how they're going to continue the Marvel timeline, but also Sam Raimi returning. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, I kind of grew up on Marvel with the original Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire. Those were my kind of first proper introduction into Marvel. And I remember going to see Spider-Man 2 in the cinemas. I don't think I caught the first one or the third one in the cinema, but I remember going to see number 2. It was with my mum and my younger brother. And I loved those movies. So seeing Sam Raimi return after all these years, for all the hate that he got for Spider-Man 3, which I personally, I'm going to go on record with a hot take, that movie gets way more hate than it deserves. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Sam Raimi returning and what he is going to do, because there is a YouTube channel called The Canadian Lad that breaks down trailers in 0.25x speed. And it also shows at one point in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, in a trailer, they go into an animated realm. So I'm very excited for that. So Adam says, should definitely react to all videos. Yeah, man, I'll keep that in mind. And thank you for your opinion on that. May also do that as well. I think it's going to be interesting for you guys who haven't seen that review or may not go watch that, how I would react to that second ever video I put on my channel, which is about 200 plus videos ago. So yeah, I'll keep that in mind. But thank you, Adam, for the comment. Nolan says, thank you for the awesome shout out. It's been glorious time bonding with you, and you are a great inspiration to me, and your video are awesome source. Nolan, thank you so much, man. Very, very awesome comment. And man, I appreciate when I came across your channel, and just the fact of your channel, I love that it's just like chilled, it's laid back. You always aren't afraid to approach something that, even if a movie's been out for years, like, I love that about your channel and you. And you just got a really cool personality, man. So hopefully one day, I know you're in the States, I'm in the UK, but hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you and a lot of other YouTubers here that are in the States also, like Tyler, for example. Let's have a look. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit behind in the questions. I've actually got quite a lot of comments, which I didn't kind of expect at the same time. But yeah, no, truly, thank you everyone for joining and dropping the questions. He says, do you have plans to do more live content in the future? Absolutely. So a little bit of an insight for you guys here in terms of live content coming up very, very shortly is on Tuesday. I'm going to be joined by a good friend called Pete, and we're going to be talking and interviewing Adam Contras, who has done the fastest DeLorean in the world, part 1 and 2. So part 1 review is on my channel. Part 2 is coming probably on Monday. So we're actually going to be doing a live stream with him on Tuesday, which is awesome. And then on Thursday, I believe, I'm going to be interviewing Matt Lewis, who is President Ron from Cobra Kai on the channel. So that's going to be awesome. And if you guys want to see more like live streams for myself, where it's just me talking to you guys and answering questions, let me know, because so far we're nearly 40 minutes in. This has been a breeze. And it's honestly been a blast. I didn't expect so many questions, but honestly, truly, thank you. But if you guys want to see more live content and like live interviews, let me know, and I'll have a look into doing more of that. Adam from What the Gym says, thank you, Mike, for the shouting out the channels. Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, I love all you guys' channels and all you guys tuning in and supporting me, and I support you guys. You guys are all awesome, and I love your content, so I want to shout you guys out because you deserve it, and you deserve more recognition. And Trav says, Perez is the GOAT. Yeah, absolutely. Again, if it wasn't Perez, truly love the guy. Such an awesome guy. Michael Baraki says, family ties links to Back to the Future, both as love letters to Ronald. The romanticization continues. Okay, so I haven't seen Family Ties, going to be completely honest with you guys. I do know Family Ties. I've seen like little snippets here and there on YouTube. But yeah, obviously I know Michael J. Fox was shooting Family Ties at the time when he was going to be doing Back to the Future. So he was on set of Back to the Future, I think at night times, and then Family Ties in the morning. And he did a lot of like 12-hour days where he maybe have like 20-minute sleeps in the actual like transport cart going to the following set. So I'm not too sure about the romanticization kind of thing, but yeah, I know about like a little bit of backstory about that. Roddy says, do you ever think of doing something, forget, then remember a few seconds later? Happens way too much to me. Sometimes, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think sometimes the best way to combat that is on your phone or on a piece of paper, write a note down. Because, for example, I try to put it in my notes where I'd be like, right, so Monday's content might be like this video, Tuesdays is this video, Thursday, Friday. And I try to post like 2-3 times a week, but lately I've been posting about 4 or 5 because I've been getting quite a lot of screeners. Then I've got like Back to the Future videos, Michael J. Fox filmographies, and then interviews and stuff coming up. So my channel has had a lot more content lately. But yeah, in general, like in terms of like in real life, yeah, I would say just make like a note on your phone or on a notepad, and that way you kind of can't forget. Or sticky note on the fridge, that also helps. The Superpower Dare Die team says, sorry, posting twice. Thought it was correcting the supporters survivors typo. Thanks again. Yeah, of course, man, anytime. And he says, have you seen Interstate 60? Directed by Bob Gale, Michael J. Fox has a cameo, and Christopher Lloyd has supporting roles. No, so I've heard of that movie. I've never seen it though, but I probably will cover that in my Michael J. Fox filmography. I didn't know that was directed by Bob Gale, by the way. I've only ever seen the DVD cover, so awesome to know, and I'll certainly be checking that out and probably be adding that to the Michael J. Fox filmography. But thanks for making me aware of that. Some really cool Back to the Future kind of connections there as well. AJ Ford, AJ, hey, how's it going, man? So he says, super proud of you, man. Do you like music? What are your favorite bands? Hell yeah, man. I love music. So whenever I'm in the gym, I'm always listening to Spotify. If I'm not watching a movie, or I like listening to Spotify, see if I go on a random walk, because I like going on walks in my free time as well when I get a chance. So yeah, man. Firstly, proud of you too, AJ. So AJ is close to 300 subscribers. Has been covering a lot of movies on his channel. He's also recently covered The Northman. So go check out AJ Ford as well. Fastly growing on YouTube. I also love his opinion as well. Awesome guy. In terms of favorite bands, so I would say one of my go-to bands, especially as of late, is a band called Hawk Nelson, which is an American band, which a lot of people haven't really heard of. But yeah, always been a big fan of those guys, and especially as of late. But one of my go-to loves for music, which you guys may not guess this about me, is country music. And you might be thinking, Mike, why do you love country music, or why is that your go-to? For me, it kind of chills me out, and it's kind of like, for example, country music nowadays for me tends to be more like leaning to pop than actual like country music. Like if you compare a song today to like say like Johnny Cash, complete variation. And I know obviously it moves with the time, but yeah, I love country music. I love artists like Sam Hunt, for example. Like he's awesome. Jordan Davis. There's quite a few, man. But yeah, Hawk Nelson in terms of bands, that's one of my go-tos at the moment. And I also love like a lot of anime music as well, like Attack on Titan theme song and Tokyo Revengers theme song. They're kind of my go-to at the moment. But thanks for the question, AJ. Ryan from RWR Movie Reviews. Hey, man, what's going on? So he said, what's up, Mike? What's a movie that you've rewatched that you hated, then rewatched it and liked it better the second time? So firstly, Ryan has also very recently past 1,000 subscribers, and he has been growing quite quickly. So go check out Ryan as well. Awesome guy who I've connected with quite a lot as of lately, and he is going to be on the Michael J. Fox filmography as part of a collaboration for Greedy. So keep a lookout for that onto the channel. So Ryan, thank you very much for the question. What's a movie that you've rewatched that you hated, then rewatched it and liked it the second time round? So a couple of months back, I would say the most one that kind of comes from the top of my mind is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. So what happened was, originally, I believe in 2001 or 2003 time when that movie came out in the cinema, I checked that out. I was a lot younger. I was in like my early teenage years. I checked it out. And the movie had some okay moments, but I was like, overall, I was bored. I never really fancied intending watching it whatsoever. Then Anthony asked me to be part of his Pirates of the Caribbean movie collaboration. Sorry, guys, I can't speak. It's been 45 minutes. Yeah, that's better. So sorry about that. So yeah, so I rewatched Pirates of the Caribbean now, especially as like when I kind of like talk about movies, and I actually learned it was an awesome movie. And I had this not hatred as such, but I had this like kind of dislike for it, and I was like, I have no intention of watching that ever again. But Anthony got me to rewatch it, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. There's probably a couple of others, but that one's kind of like the top one that comes top of my mind. So Lego One News says, okay, I'm having trouble sleeping. So hopefully you can go to sleep soon, by the way, because I know you said you've got school tomorrow, I think you said. I said, okay, I have trouble sleeping, but do you think Super Smash Brothers on Nintendo, Super Smash Brothers or Nintendo Cinematic Universe could be a thing in the future? And will this live stream be a video on your channel? Yes. So the live stream usually gets posted onto the channel like straight afterwards, or sometimes like a day afterwards. I will post on my community tab as well for anyone who wants to catch up the rest of it or want to watch it from the beginning or the last part of it, whatever the case should be. Yeah, so in terms of your question, so Super Smash Brothers or Nintendo Cinematic, for me, I would say possibly Super Smash Brothers. Now, I know obviously it's all kind of like Nintendo IP, I believe. I'm not an expert on like Nintendo or Switches on like DSs and stuff. I never really owned them properly. I had a Switch for a short amount of time playing Animal Crossing, and then I sold the Switch. But I would say probably Super Smash Bros. Simply because next year they're making a Mario animated movie. So, like Sonic, for example, Sonic's been a huge hit for Sega, and they've made 2 movies, and I know they're making a third and a spin-off series. Whereas I think with Mario, loads of kids, adults, everyone knows Mario, whether it's from nostalgia or whether they've been introduced to it. So that for me has potential to build up into a sequel. Then also like a Super Smash Brothers universe, because then you could make a movie about Luigi and Wario, for example, and introduce all these wacky characters that they have as like DLC and stuff. So I would say probably Super Smash Bros. Own personal opinion. Because they also did do Detective Pikachu, but I know they cancelled the sequel, so I would guess that would come into like a Nintendo Cinematic. But yeah, I'd say Super Smash Brothers. Blacktastic, hey man, how's it going? He said, had to stop by and show some love. Yeah, man, I really appreciate you showing some love for the channel. And Blacktastic was also one of the first YouTubers I collaborated with in a movie called Class Act. So yeah, Blacktastic is an awesome YouTuber, does movies as well, and his most recent movie, Sarah, is awesome. Definitely recommend going to check that out. But he also does a lot of poetry. He also does like a lot of shorts. He also does a lot of like short movies, documentaries, also reviews movie. Such an awesome guy. Tyler says, you've never seen Homeward Bound, and his mind's blown. Yeah, man, never seen Homeward Bound. Always wanted to, and always been curious about the movie and like how it goes and stuff like that. But one thing is, kind of within the last year and a half, near 2 years now, I had 2 dogs, and both of them passed away within the space of around 6 to 9 months. So to be honest with you, I've never really seen a dog movie apart from the Channing Tatum one about a month ago, called Dog. I haven't really watched them kind of for that reason. So, but I will get to it. Trust me. Trav says, Blacktastic, yeah, man, such an awesome guy. Such a joy. I'm not too sure what that relates to, but yeah, cool. Blacktastic says, Trav, man, nice to see you. Of course, man, nice to see you too. Adam says, gonna go now, Mike. Awesome live stream and keep being amazing. I've got one more question. Being, what are your favorite songs? Wow. Okay. In terms of, well, firstly, Adam, speak to you soon, man. Thank you for tuning into stream, and thanks for yourself being amazing as well, man. Such a cool guy. What are my favorite songs? Well, I've got a lot. Like, I like a lot of the classics, and I like a lot of the other stuff. I touched on this before. What I would say right now is what my favorite songs are right now that on my Spotify I tend to go to is anime songs when I'm listening to Spotify. So again, like the Tokyo Revengers theme song and the Attack on Titan theme song. I really love those 2 at the moment, and they really get me going in the gym. Or like the Death Note L theme song. Those 3 help me like really pump me up and get like motivation going in the gym. So I hope that answers the question. End of an era. Hey, how's it going? How do you feel about YouTubers that don't respond to comments? Do you find it difficult to connect with YouTube creators that do that? I certainly do. So that is a tough one, and I guess in certain regards, people have different opinions on that. So for me personally, what I would say is, being a YouTube creator myself, I sometimes find it hard responding to comments. Now, for example, if I launch a video and I get, say, 10 comments on that, and say if I've been asleep, right? And I wake up and I see 10, 12 comments or 5 comments, whatever the case should be. Now, obviously, that takes a little bit of time out of your day or morning or afternoon, whatever the case should be, to reply to those comments. But at the same time, if, for example, someone who's got a massive channel compared to mine, or even someone who's maybe got a channel my size or a little bit bigger or smaller, but have such hectic personal lives more than, say, what I have, and I would say mine does at certain times for sure, but if people have more hectic lives than that, they might find it hard to continuously reply to comments. Or, for example, some people might get a lot of hate comments, and that maybe detracts them from replying to comments, even if it's a nice comment, because they have some hate comments. Like, for example, there's once upon a time a specific video I did have on my channel. I don't have it anymore, but it was a long time ago. When I posted that review, I reviewed that movie. I was honest about it, but I had a lot of hate comments on that video at the time, and this was very on in my YouTube stage. And that for me didn't really have a massive effect going forward, but it did have that moment being like, well, if I'm getting a lot of hate comments, like, maybe am I not good enough for this? Or like, why are people spreading hate? So I can get where you're coming from in terms of like, you find it difficult to connect people who don't respond. And in a sense, I kind of agree, because at the end of the day, it does only take like a couple of moments in your day to reply to those comments and have a conversation. Because at the end of the day, when you put out a review and I put out my opinion out there, whether someone chooses to go with my opinion, maybe watch that movie or TV or Back to the Future, whatever the case should be, or whether they don't, if someone leaves a comment, firstly, they've taken their time to check out your channel, but then at the same time, they want to maybe start a conversation, and I like having a conversation. So for me, I always like replying to every single comment as much as I can. Maybe someone might reply to my comment with like a 1 word or 2 words that doesn't really like have a response going for it. So maybe I'll just like give it like a thumbs up and the heart emoji, like the like and love, sharing, whatever the case should be. But at the same time, I can relate to an extent. Like, there is some YouTubers I'll comment on and you never get a reply, and I'm just like, I've left like a comment and it'll take you a minute, but at the same time, everyone's got something going on in their lives, so it's a bit hard to answer that one, but I can see where you're coming from though. So I hope that answers. Hey Mike, I'm going to go because I have school tomorrow and it's going to be a pain for me to wake up. So yeah, awesome live stream. I hope you make more in the future. So I do want to make more in the future. Like, this one's been great so far, and if you guys want to see more in the future, leave it in the chat or like comment on my videos if you want to see more, because if you guys enjoy them, I'm happy to put more of these together, because it's awesome connecting with you guys more, even if I'm not doing a YouTube video, because again, not everyone can check out the YouTube videos. So yeah, really, really appreciate you stopping by Lego Web News, and yeah, go subscribe to his channel, especially if you like Lego. Awesome content over there. Cinematic, hey man, how's it going? Congrats on getting 1K subscribers. Yeah, well, thank you very much for your support in this journey. And Cinematic is going to be joining me on Back to the Future videos and also some movie reviews as well. So keep an eye on that channel. One thing I love about Cinematic Tendencies channel is the fact that he does these in the theater reviews, where literally the movie's just ended and he goes straight live on his camera and he'll talk about his immediate reaction to the movie. Always enjoyed those, and his unboxing about figures. So yeah, definitely go check out Cinematic Tendency as well. You will have to try 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year, mid 2023. Continue making these well-made videos. Well, thank you very much for the kind comments. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, the next goal would be 1,100 subscribers. I'd love to get 2,000 subscribers by the end of the day. One thing about myself is I don't want to set myself a goal and be like, right, by end of the year, I'm going to get to 2,000 subs, because if that doesn't happen, firstly, that can be a lot of pressure to put on yourself, but at the same time, that can also really kind of demotivate someone. So for me, I like to try to set myself little goals. So at the moment, as of this live stream, I think I'm on like 1,014 subscribers. I would like to get to 1,050, ideally, maybe by the end of May. But again, I'm not going to push myself and be like, if I don't get that point, I'm not going to, because at the end of the day, I appreciate it. Just even a single person subscribes and I get 1 subscriber a week, that's still growth to me. So yeah, I appreciate where you come from though. So I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, the next question is, okay, sorry guys, I just need to keep going for a drink. So Dave, again man, thanks for another question. So he said, what's the most enjoyable and most difficult aspect of collaborating with other YouTubers? What all goes into multi-creator collabs like Back to the Future appreciation video? So here's a bit more context about like what goes on behind the scenes of the Back to the Future video. So currently on my Michael J. Fox filmography for anyone who hasn't seen it so far. So I'm going in movie orders that he's done from the beginning of his career right up until the end. So now I think I'm on around 1986 to 1988, I believe, in his filmography. So with the Back to the Future collaboration, for example. So I reach out to YouTubers, and I reach out to some of the same ones, but I also reach out to new ones. So, for example, to give you guys a bit of a heads up, in my Back to the Future 2 collaboration, I reached out to brand new people like Elliot from IMO Reviews or Sarah from Popcorn Chat, for example. So those are new people who I've never had on the channel before because I want to showcase them. I like their content, but also give them a way of maybe trying to gain some subscribers at the same time because you guys are all awesome. And I know you guys help support me, but those guys also deserve some attention as well. So I always like to try to highlight another YouTuber because we're all in this together at the end of the day. My channel is growing and that's awesome. But I love to see other people grow and also like grow their skills as well. So one thing that goes into that. So firstly, I approach those people, or I tend to then approach maybe more people after the fact because I want to try and make it as big a video as I can. But obviously, they take a while to edit. So what goes into them is that I'll reach out to a bunch of people. I then reach out to them. I then might say, okay, I'll maybe give you guys 3 or 4 weeks. Can you get me the video by that point? So it gives them enough time for they've got something going on in their personal lives that they don't have like a day, for example, to get me their portion for the video. But I like to give people time. Or sometimes I'll say, look, no time scale, because I appreciate people's got stuff going on in their personal lives. Like myself, if someone asks me for a collaboration, I try to get them to them quickly, but sometimes it does take me a month or two because I've got things on. I've got my own channel as well to run also, and I've got these interviews I'm setting up, got these screeners, got Back to the Future content, Back to the Fans and stuff like that. I've got a lot going on. As anyone who's got a YouTube channel can probably relate with that, they've got their own stuff going on before kind of like a collaboration. So yeah, it's kind of like gathering up everyone's videos. Then I've got to record my own portion for it. Then I put in their portions into it and blend it all together, and like maybe like personalities matching, or like my first one, I literally picked names out of a hat and then put their portions in that order. And I'll probably do the same for the second part. So I hope that answers kind of the Back to the Future collaboration. But this time, I might kind of stop the middle of the collaboration, speak a little bit for like a minute or two, then put on the rest of the collaboration. We'll wait and see. You guys have to wait and see. What's the most enjoyable and most difficult aspect without collaborating with other YouTubers? So I would say the most difficult one is sometimes the time differences. So, for example, here in the UK right now, I started this at 9 o'clock, but in America, some time zones is like 5 hours behind. Or, like, for example, like some people from like Australia, they might be like 12 hours ahead or behind, whatever the time zone may be. So, I think the most difficult aspect is sometimes you might give someone, say, like no time limit whatsoever, but in doing so, they might take 4 months to get that portion to you. But at the same time, the most difficult aspect about collaborating for me personally at this moment is not other people. I would say for myself, because I've got so many at the minute, like some screeners going on behind the scenes where I'm getting approached about doing screens, and that's ultimately fantastic. And I love being able to check out a movie early, but at the same time, sometimes that stops the content that I want to make because I'm also working with those studios. So I would say that can be difficult, but the most enjoyable is firstly, being present on someone else's channel and also helping them talk about a movie that maybe I'm checking out for the first time, or a rewatch, or maybe that I love, and having that experience of maybe checking out a movie that I've maybe never seen before, or maybe like Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. I didn't like that movie, but then going back and rewatching it, and I loved it. So it's having that like movie experience, I would say for me. Classic Review says, congrats on 1K, well deserved. What's your favorite movie of 2022 so far? Mine is The Fallout, directed by Megan Park. So firstly, Classic Reviews, thank you for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for the question as well. I've never heard of The Fallout, so I'll add that to my list, especially if that's your favorite. That sounds like a cool movie. Never heard of Megan Park either, so I'll have a look into that. In terms of my favorite movie of 2022 so far, The Batman, hands down. So I'm maybe a little bit biased because I love Batman in general. But for me, you've got great movies like The Northman or Everything Everywhere All at Once. You've got a lot of movies. But for me, The Batman, hands down. Classic Review says, I would love to collaborate with you at some point if you're for it. Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, like, I love collaborating with anyone on YouTube. I like to try get like maybe brand new people or people who maybe be on the channel once, maybe into like the Back to the Future projects, because it gives them a chance to speak as well. But also, like with collaborations, being honest with you guys that's watching this right now and who have collaborated before, who maybe want to collaborate the first time, like Classic Reviews, I'm open to collaborations for sure. But one thing I like to try to do on my channel is do collaborations as part of a project. So, for example, in the past, I know when I first started the channel, I did like random collabs for sure. But like right now, I'm doing collabs as part of the Michael J. Fox filmography. In the future, I plan to do maybe a collab for the Turbo Movie collab series. So yeah, Classic Reviews, I'm definitely up for it, and I'll reach out to you at some point as well. I'll come up by the channel and I'll get in touch with you on like social media, and we'll sort something out. Cinematic Tendency says, question, do you have a favorite Tarantino movie? If so, which one is your favorite, or which one is it? Interesting thing about Quentin Tarantino, I've only ever seen 2 of his movies. Yeah, I know you guys are going to be thinking, how is that possible? So I've seen the one with Kurt Russell as the driver. I can't remember what that movie is called. Drive, is it called Driver? I'm really not too sure what it's called. And I've also seen Reservoir Dogs as at the cinema as a reshow with my partner. So I'd say Reservoir Dogs out of the 2. So I'd say that one's my favorite as of now. But I know you're a big Quentin Tarantino fan, so my question for you is, what's your favorite Tarantino movie? Rashad G, how's it going, man? He says, my man, congrats again, my dude. Yeah, well, thank you, Rashad. And Rashad, also thank you for being one of the first people I ever collaborated and continue to collaborate with and continue to talk on a permanent basis, and we've become good friends. So, my man, thank you. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Rashad G Reviews, let me tell about his channel very quickly. He does movie reviews. He also does Officer Jackson parodies, which are hilarious. He does a dinner and a movie, which every time I watch one of those, I want to then make some food. He does episode reviews on Snowfall, recently on Bel Air, and a lot of other stuff as well. So Rashad is an amazing YouTuber, and his comedy is gold. Go check him out. So yeah, guys, I've got some more questions here. I'm trying to catch up, so sorry about this. End of an Era says, gotcha. I was more so referring to smaller channels. I totally understand how overwhelming it would be to respond to 100 comments on bigger platforms. Yeah, so in terms of your questions about like, how do you feel about people not responding to comments and like, you know, find it difficult to connect with? I completely agree, yeah. So I think with like smaller channels, for example, again, you know, if they've got like really hectic personal lives and find it hard to respond, I can kind of agree. But at the same time, we all post YouTube videos. So at some point, we're always on YouTube, whether we were watching some YouTube videos or whether we are posting YouTube, we're always on that platform. So I think, especially as like YouTube algorithms, but especially as a YouTube creator and someone on YouTube, it's very, very important, for my personal opinion, to connect with anyone who stops by your channels. Now, you know, by all means, you know, people might call themselves subscribers, they may call themselves fans, whatever the case may be. I call all you guys friends because you guys are spending your own time to get to know me and want to check out my opinion on whatever the case should be. And I truly am thankful for that. So I don't see you guys as fans or subscribers. I see you guys more like friends because you are willing to actually kind of get to know me as well. So yeah, I could completely kind of agree with you, to be honest. I'm sure still got butt burn from the hot chip. So yeah, if you guys don't know, as I mentioned earlier in my live stream, is recently I did do a one chip challenge as a special, and yeah, definitely today I've got a burn that ring of fire. That's all I'm going to say about that without getting too graphic. But yeah, man, anyone who's thinking about doing that one chip challenge, don't. Honestly, do not put yourself through that. End of an Era also says, it's awkward to want to support an up-and-coming creator and constantly be met with silence. Yeah, like I agree with you, because the thing is, like, in terms of what you're trying to say, again, I know there's always two sides to the story, so I'm not here to say that my opinion's right or someone else's opinion's right. At the end of the day, it's always a two-sided story. But I do get you. Like, for example, someone who's really wanting to grow on YouTube. So, for example, if I spent my time going to check out a channel, I comment on all their videos, I love their content, but they never seem to reply to my comments when I'm trying to get to know that person, because when I stop by their channel, I enjoy their content and I wanted to get to know that person. That's why I've stopped by their videos and left a comment. Don't get me wrong, there'll be videos I check out and I might not leave a comment like we all do for sure. But if I leave a comment, it's because I truly love that content and I want to see more from that person or persons. So yeah, we constantly met by silence. I kind of agree with you, because you then can't relate with that person. That can also turn you off from their channel, because you'd be like, well, why bother, you know? So yeah, I can get where you come from. Classic Review says, how do you get... Hold on. Sorry, for example. How did you get screeners? I'm super jealous you saw everything everywhere all at once. Laugh my ass off. Yeah, so, well, firstly, how do I get screeners? Well, being honest with you, is the best way to go about getting screeners for anyone that's interested is have a look at movie companies. So, for example, whether you are a bigger creator or whether you are a smaller YouTube creator, whatever your audience size is, for example, it's going to be very hard for you off the ground, probably, to get in touch with someone from the likes of like Universal or Lionsgate, unless you know an inside contact, or unless you're putting out reviews. For example, if you're a movie review channel and your reviews are blasting off into the stratosphere immediately, where the point of someone from their marketing team looks at your channel, and for example, say if you're a smaller creator, as a pure example scenario, and say you've posted 5 reviews, and every single one of your reviews has got like 10,000 views, as an example. Now, if you contact someone from their marketing team, they may be more interested because your views are higher. And a lot of these studios care about your view count than actually you as a person or your content. They'll look at your review count. And if you get like 100 views, which to myself and maybe to a lot of people might be like, wow, that's truly amazing. That is far more than I could have even have asked for. They don't see it that way. So for me, again, thanks to the help of Anthony Perez, who's helped me point me and put me in direction of a lot of screeners, but also it's about spending your own time and reaching out to these studios that are maybe lower studios at the moment, but they're slowly building a reputation and starting to take off. So for me, for example, like Gravitas Ventures, I was introduced to them, but for example, those are a great company because they release a lot of screeners, and some of them haven't been amazing movies for sure, but there's some, for example, like The Killing of Kenneth Chamberlain I checked out last year, which is an utterly phenomenal movie and a tearjerker. They produce quality like that, and they also give like people who are smaller creators and smaller directors and everything like that a platform to release their movie even on a smaller budget. And that movie has actually won awards because it's that good, and I had an executive producer of Morgan Freeman. So for me, what my advice for you guys is, if you want screeners, is research movie companies, but maybe start with the smaller ones, and then you build up a reputation like that. Whereas now I've also got screeners for Shudder, who is a horror platform and one of the biggest horror platforms, or the biggest horror platform out there streaming wise. So you build up those relationships, and then in time, if I want to maybe apply for Universal or reach out to them, I can say, well, look, I've got relationships with Shudder, Gravitas Ventures, I've got relationships with a couple of screening companies, and then therefore they may be like, oh, well, okay, let me give you this. Whereas Everything Everywhere All at Once, I can't remember who that was with, being honest with you, it was a couple of weeks ago, so that's my apologies. But I reached out to that studio, and thankfully I got a screener for that. I was very lucky, and ever since I've not got nothing from them, but for that one I did. So yeah, it's all a bit crazy, being honest with you. They also, Classic Reviews also says, I love the format of your reviews. I'm trying to make my better by making the editing better and stuff. So the editing can be a lot to do with it. What I would say in terms of the format for your movie, so everyone's different. So for me, again, with the help of Anthony Perez, I position myself usually this side for my reviews. And then I'll have a movie poster sat like here, because at the end of the day, no one wants to see a plain Lego box, but I've got like Funkos in my background, so it's a bit of a cool background. But at the same time, people have got a movie poster to look at right here where my hand is normally on my reviews, so they know the movie you're talking about, or the TV show, or Back to the Fans logo that I'll have, so they know what I'm talking about. So I would really just say, have a look at your reviews, have a look at YouTubers that you like watching, and maybe take some tips of what they're doing and implement that maybe on your channel if you feel like that might improve. But yeah, man, I'm certainly going to be checking out your channel very shortly as well. Cinematic says, cool, Tarantino, what I'm talking about is Death Proof. That's the one, not Driver, Death Proof. And my favorite is Kill Bill. Yeah, that's on my list. I definitely want to check out Kill Bill. I will certainly get to that, but I know you're a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. Also, guys, as well, I'm probably going to go for maybe about another 20 minutes or less, and then I'm going to be wrapping this up. But yeah, let me try and get through these questions because I've got a couple more. So yeah, Classic Review says, I remember you leaving a very, very nice comment on my old channel for my Batman review. It made my day, so thank you very much for that. I moved over to this channel because I got hate on the last one. Well, firstly, I'm sorry that you got hate on your last channel. The last thing that you or anyone for that matter deserves is hate for posting reviews or posting your opinion. And then I appreciate if people don't like your opinion or don't agree with it, that's understandable. And I certainly can, respect the fact that, when I post a review, not everyone agrees with my opinion personally, but there's absolutely no need for hate on someone's channel. At the end of the day, if someone doesn't agree with your opinion, why not just leave a simple comment? This is my mentality anyway. Leave a simple comment being like, for example, my review could be like, hey, Mike, I appreciate your take on Batman. However, I disagree for X reason. That's all they have to put on. And I can have a conversation. Well, okay, I appreciate your opinion. I appreciate this fact. And I can disagree with why they disagree with mine. Or I can maybe agree if they bring up like a better point than I made in the review. Absolutely no need for that. But yeah, at the end of the day, your review, Batman review, I do remember it perfectly clear. It was a really, really good review. And I'm certainly going to be checking out your newer channel as well. But I'm sorry that you had hate in your old one. But what I will say is don't let the haters get to you, because it's far too easy for someone to sit behind a screen, like a keyboard warrior, I guess that people call them, and leave a nasty comment. But matter of fact is, a lot of those people that leave them comments haven't or will not step up to the plate and make a YouTube channel themselves. So yeah, don't let that get to you, because you're better than that. Let's have a look. D Movie Man says, do you remember your first screener? What was your reaction when someone reached out to offer you one? Oh, wow. Okay, that's a big question. So, first screener. Hey, honestly, what was my first screener? I don't remember what it was. Oh, sorry. I think I do remember. It may have been for A Father's Legacy. I think that might be my first ever screener from Laurie, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I might be wrong. I'm sure someone can maybe go back on my channel. I might even do it after this stream and go have a look. I think it might be for A Father's Legacy. So I think with that, again, Perez reached out and said, look, there's this website, go to this website, this is how you get the contact and things like that. And then what was my reaction when someone reached out? Baffled. Truly baffled that someone wanted to give me, which at the time my channel was the Z Review, now it's obviously Did You See That? That someone wanted to give me a screener to a movie. I'm like, surely that's for like bigger people like Chris Tuckman and stuff like that. So my reaction is baffled, man, because the thing is, like, I know for yourself, for example, like D, like we both got a screener to Cycles by Oscar Wenman Hyde, and Oscar's watching. Hey Oscar, how you doing? But yeah, we both got reached out to Oscar, and that is a privilege that a filmmaker wants to reach out to you and wants your opinion on their movie, whether their movie is great or whether it's terrible. They want your opinion. So for me, getting that screen for A Father's Legacy, which turned out to be a great movie, I enjoyed that movie. Looking back on it now, I really enjoyed that. And also, it gives you that kind of confidence to be like, right, well, let's reach out more and see if I can approach other like studios and maybe get more screeners. So yeah, man, D, hit me up in a private message and I'll see if I can maybe put you in touch with some screener companies if you would like that as well, if I can, or at least direct you to their website. Yeah, let me know. Classic reviews also adds in here. Thank you also anyone who's watching right now who's just tuned in or sticking around. I tend to add humor to my reviews, but I'm going to start being a bit more formal with them as it may come across in the wrong way. So best advice I can give you, classic reviews, is do your style. And then Dave, if you want to add humor in and you don't feel like it's forced humor because maybe something in that movie's made you laugh, or maybe you've got a funny way of presenting that, maybe someone's not done it, that adds its style to your respective channel. So I would say do you and be you. At the end of the day, it's great to be formal for sure. And, we all try to be formal in our reviews to an extent. But at the same time, you've got to add your personality in there, because if you're formal to the point of 100% you're like robotic, people's not going to tune into that or get to know you or leave comments on your channel, because it's going to come across as robotic. Whereas if you're more about yourself and present your own personality, that's what people's going to really attach to and use to your channel. So by all means, do what you like on your own channel. But, if you want to be more formal, then that's fine. That's completely up to you. If you want to add a bit more human, then that's up to you. But at the end of the day, be you. That's my best advice. Noran says, let's hit you with a get to know you question. So thank you also tuning in still, Noran. What is your favorite food to eat and why? Favorite food is a bolognese pizza. So I'm not sure if you guys do that in the States. And over here in the UK, in the northeast of England, so I'm based near Durham area, We do something called bolognese, which, you know, like bolognese as in terms of like the Italian dish, but they put that on a pizza without obviously the spaghetti, it's just the bolognese sauce with a lot of cheese. That is my go-to for a pizza, and I crave that all the time. Now, in my household, I tried because my girlfriend is vegetarian. I also tend to eat a lot of vegetarian food, so bolognese pizza is kind of like a treat for me because she doesn't mind me eating it. But that's majority of like the only meat that I'll eat, which is very rarely. But bolognese pizza or the vegetarian food, I love something called Linda McCartney's mozzarella burgers. Those are beautiful if you've never had one. But what's your favorite food, Nolan? That's what I'd like to know. Zeke, my man, Zeke, how's it going? Congrats on getting to 1,000. Good to see you, brother. Sick or not, I couldn't miss some of this stream. Well, Zeke, thanks very much, man, for tuning in to the stream. And guys, Zeke, now this is another channel you guys need to check out. Let me very quickly tell you about Zeke. So I met Zeke on a stream once again with the Lighthouse, Anthony E. Perez, the OG, the GOAT, whatever you want to call him. I'll refer to him as the OG Anthony E. Perez. So I met Zeke through there when we did the live stream for Mortal Kombat. Now, Zeke's channel, he has been a lot focused on Venom, and he's done over 600-700 episodes on Venom. So if you love superheroes and Venom, check out his channel. But also recently, on his game channel, he's covered like a lot of Resident Evil. He's also a huge Spider-Man and comics fan, and also DC fan. He also covers a wide range of content, and he's such an amazing, amazing guy. I admire Zeke a lot, so definitely go check out Zeke's channel. And thank you, man. And if you're feeling a bit ill, and I know you have been lately, I hope you get better and a speedy recovery. And also, give my love to Ace as well. Awesome, awesome. Classic says, I did a review for Morbius, and I hated it that much. I was being as funny as possible because of how bad it was. Yeah, a lot of people haven't been a fan of Morbius, and I've got to admit that I liked it a little bit more than some people did. So that's what I will say. I will admit that it's not a fantastic movie. I don't think it deserves the absolute hate that it's gotten. I appreciate that some people feel like that, and I completely appreciate that for yourself, Classic, that you may feel like you hated that much, which is understandable. At the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It wasn't a great movie, and I think with Sony, they're trying to do this whole Sinister Six, and that's fine. But at this moment in time, I'm personally not massively invested in it because I'm not a huge fan of the Venom movies. They're okay. Don't get me wrong. I prefer the second one over the first. I know that might be a hot take because a lot of people like the first better, but nothing in their arsenal apart from the Spider-Man movies for me has really been a true standout. So we'll wait and see what they have to do. But yeah, for me, we'll wait and see. Six says, Norman Ride, 89, cool name. I love the Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is awesome. And the Fantastic Four movies for me is, a very hot take. Very kind of guilty pleasure, the original ones. I've never seen Fantastic Four stick that everyone calls it. One day I might review that on the channel. We'll wait and see. Zeke says, nah, you all can skip me, but that's very kind. Mike and Anthony are great guys. Sub to them and tell your friends about them. Yeah, Zeke's very humble guy. Guys, I appreciate, if you subscribe to me, and definitely subscribe to Anthony, please. Please subscribe to everyone that I've shouted out in this stream so far, and maybe even more, but definitely subscribe to Zeke. He deserves a lot more love and attention on his channel because he's truly an awesome, awesome guy. And we also connect a little bit because we've both worked for Lego as well in the past. D-Movie Man says, if you had a segment on a show called When Technology Attacks, what would be an experience where technology was not on your side while making a video? Well, here's a good example for you. So one thing I've learned about anyone who uses Adobe Premiere Pro to edit videos, which I currently use and have done since day one. So that's why I use that platform. So when technology is taxing, when it's not on my side. So there's been a couple of reviews I've had to purposely reshoot because on my iPhone, which I have, you can shoot in 60 frames per second at 4K. Now, Adobe Premiere Pro on the mobile doesn't tend to like 60 frames per second. So I shoot in 30 frames, which I think is the maximum capacity you can hold on the mobile. On a computer, it might be able to hold more. I'm not too sure. But basically, what happens on that segment is when I've done reviews before in the past, because I've shot it in that frame rate, and for some reason the mobile version can't handle it, I don't know why, it glitches to the point of where it looks like, if you guys have ever seen Terminator 2, when like the Terminator, the bad guy, sorry, in Terminator, Robert Patrick, I believe, that Terminator, like when when he starts coming back together when he's been shot and his body like heals itself. Basically, that glitch comes out on me. So when I've shot before, it's been like a second mic appearing in the glitch, and that way you can't get rid of it. So sometimes I've had to reshoot the actual review because of that. So that's when it's not been on my side, and that has been a real pain to edit and then have to reshoot. So I would say that was when it's not on my side, and that is actually a true story, and that's happened quite a few times. Zeke says, any news on Lego sets coming up that you may get? I kind of like the new Buzz Lightyear ship with the stand. Seems good. So I've seen a couple of reviews on that ship, and there's been a lot of praise for that. That's really cool and all, and I think that set would be cool to get, don't get me wrong. But for me, I want to get something that I'm going to be displaying, and I'm happy to have on display. So, for example, if you guys can see me, I've got like the Ninjago set that's been retired for a couple of years now. Now, at some point, I do want to build those on the channel, or I want to get like maybe some more Back to the Future stuff. If they release that in the future, I'll definitely be getting those like day one. In terms of like Lego sets, I haven't really got any on my mind specifically as of this second to be like, I want to build that in the future. I'm sure like after the stream, someone will come across to me and be like, yeah, I want that set. But I don't blame you, Zeke, for kind of like fancying the Buzz Lightyear one, because it really does look like such a cool ship to have and to be able to build. But as of right now, nothing in the pipework, my friend. But keep that in mind, because I'm sure there might be something that will come up. D-Man says, although we know that film is 100% subjective, what are some film opinions you find perplexing and hard to swallow? So I would say for me, in that question, so very good question, by the way, and thank you for the question, D, and thank you for sticking around and continue to ask questions. Really, really appreciate it. And some very different ones I did not expect whatsoever. So in terms of this answer, so I would say for me is, do you guys ever get where someone reviews a movie? Now, I'm not saying like one of the big YouTubers, by all means they could, or like some critics might be like, this movie is critically acclaimed, or this is really received high praise from critics. You check that movie out, and it's utterly terrible. Or vice versa, the critics pan it, but you love that movie, and also that movie gains like a cult following. Like for me, I can't really give you one the top of my head, being honest with you. After this stream, I wouldn't be surprised if I literally think of about 10 movies. But you know yourself, right? Where a critic might be like, oh, this movie is amazing. You go check it out, and you don't like that movie whatsoever. Or vice versa, they say they hate that movie, but you love that movie, even if it's a guilty pleasure, So I think that's a tough one. But that is kind of like perplexing and hard to swallow when they're like, I hate this movie. Do not go waste your time in this movie. And then you actually watch it and you're like, yeah, I like that movie, I would say one of those, But yeah, classic review. So sorry I didn't answer that question fully there, D, but I'll message you privately when I think of a couple. Have you got a Letterboxd account? If so, I will follow you. Yes, I actually do. I've actually recently just started a Letterboxd account. I believe it's just Did You See That? I believe that's what it is. I post on my Instagram. My Instagram username, sorry, is just _ Mike JZ or Z, however you want to say it. I always say Z. So yeah, on my Instagram, I posted the other day. On my story, I'll post again. And yes, I do recently have Letterboxd. I've just started up. So I'm starting to put a few reviews in there. I'm sure I'll get some more. Classic Reviews also says, I use Premiere Pro on computer, so if you need help editing, let me know and I will help the edit. Yeah, sincerely appreciate that. So one thing I found for me, right, with the whole editing process, just very quickly, I'm not going to go into a long rant or anything about it, but one thing I found is very early into my YouTube journey, I used to edit on the computer quite a lot, and I'd always upload from my iPhone to the computer, then from the computer put it through to Premiere Pro, edit them, put it to YouTube, and that was fine. But the issue is with laptops, unless it's an Apple, Mac, or computer, which I've never owned one of those, is a lot of them don't like compatible with your iPhone or struggle to transfer a file that's over a certain size. So for me, I really found it a pain to try upload from my phone, which a lot of the time wouldn't work. So therefore, it takes a lot more time in the editing process. So when I found Premiere Pro, they have an editing app on the mobile. it's completely revolutionized my life. It's truly made it so much more easier and much more accommodating to the point where now I can have it on my phone. I can upload multiple video clips or audio clips, whatever the case should be, and edit it out quite quickly. So I appreciate the help and not say that I'll never take you on that offer, by the way. And thank you very much for even offering. That's very, very kind of you. For now, I'm quite content on my phone because I tend to find it's a lot easier. And the comment here from Rashad is time travel with Doc Brown or time travel with Cap returning the stones? That's a good question. So I would probably say, so Captain America is one of my favorite Marvel superheroes. He always will be. So my favorite underlying superheroes, so here's an answer for you, is Captain America, Batman, and Spider-Man. Those are three that I grew up on. Out of the three, probably more Captain America or Batman. Probably lean more towards Batman. But to answer this question, Doc Brown, Back to the Future. Because the thing is with Doc Brown, right? He's been to 1955. He's been to 1985. He's been to 2015. He's been to 1855 or 1885, sorry. So he's been to all these different time zones and he's been able to see what happens in the future, what happens in the past, what happens in the old Wild West. And I think time adventuring with him would be so much more cooler. Whereas Captain America, I know he has kind of traveled to like the 70s and kind of like in the future and stuff like that. But he ends his life in the future with Clara Clayton and two kids, and of course Einstein. Whereas that's kind of like then just a finished future. Whereas, sorry, that's Doc Brown. Sorry. Whereas Captain America is basically just like he's done with the Stones, and then he's with Peggy. That's kind of it. So yeah, I would go Doc Brown. Let me have a look. Sorry, I'll get to your next question too. Classic Review says, I'm using one of the new Apple Macs, so it's very powerful. Drop me a message if you need help, my friend. Again, man, thank you very much for the kind offer, and thank you very much for even offering to try edit the video for me. One thing that I think a lot of people will realize is when you edit reviews, you kind of have your own style of editing. Not saying that someone couldn't do an edit for me and make it like 10 times or 100 times better. I'm sure they probably could. And then I kind of class myself as an amateur editor. Some people might not think so, but I kind of do. But yeah, I kind of have my own style. And again, with my mobile phone, because I'm on the go a lot, or because I'm at the gym, and because I'm on like a treadmill session of an not a movie, sometimes I even use that time on the treadmill to edit a review. So yeah, but yeah, guys, just let you know, I appreciate. I've got a couple of more comments here to answer. I'll just let you know, I'm going to maybe go for about another 10-15 minutes, and I'm going to be ending the stream. But I can always do a part 2. So if you want to see that, let me know. D-Movie Man says, is there any specific content in film you find unsettling or difficult to watch, regardless of genre? I've always struggled involved anything including women and abuse. I know it's a reality, but still tough. Firstly, I agree. So what I will say is I recently watched a movie not too long ago with my partner, Emma, called Promising Young Woman, which, don't get me wrong, fantastic movie if you've never seen it. But at the same time, that does have some disturbing imagery. Well, for me, so I agree with you. I would also say another kind of sensitive point for me is when an animal gets killed in a movie. Now, I know obviously they might use a prop or like a resin of that creature to make it look exactly like that, or someone in the suit, or whatever kind of effects that they use. But for me, that's difficult to watch, and I always turn around. I was like, I'm like that. I can't watch it. And for me, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know it's kind of to give maybe character motivation, to maybe don't like that character even more. But yeah, regardless of the genre, if there's something involved in an animal dying or even lost its way, for example, anything like that, or like abuse to women specifically, yeah, man, I agree. That for me is difficult to watch and kind of hard to get by. Classic Review says, have you seen Drive My Car yet? It was one of my favorite films of the few last years. Story of love, loss, and forgiveness with one of the best screenplays. No, so I've heard of Drive My Car, and I've heard of this through Blake Patterson. Actually, he has a channel as well. He does like a classic series as well. Really, really cool guy. So I've heard of him through that, and I know he reviewed Drive My Car, and I think Sidney Volpe has also seen that movie. I've heard it's good movie, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I've clearly you like it as well. I will add it to my list, and I will get around to check it out. And I know a lot of people maybe comment on my videos in the past and maybe said, "Oh, check out X movie and stuff," and I've got on my list. And trust me, I have got it on my list. But again, with all the content that I make and getting some screeners, sometimes I don't get to that list. But you never know, I will get to it. But yeah, I'll add that to it as well. So thank you for that. Play Tendo guy. Hey man, how's it going? Hey mate, congrats on 1,000 subs. Well, firstly, thank you very much. I know Play Tendo guy. I think as of this video, I might be wrong, is close to 1,000 himself. So go subscribe to Play Tendo guy. He does video game reviews. He also does like weekly pickups about Blu-rays and DVDs, 4Ks, video games, all sorts of stuff. He also does like a couple of hunts. He also does a lot of live streams like every single week. Awesome guy, I believe, also from the UK. So it's also great to support a fellow UK YouTuber. So Play Tendo guy, man. Hey, thanks for sticking around, and yeah, nice to catch you on here, man, and hopefully get to know you more soon. And I've got a lot more of your content to catch up on as well. So expect to see me on some comments. Ryan, hey man. So he says, what has been your best theatre experience and your worst? Right, okay. So this is a cool story in terms of my worst experience. So I know my 500 subscriber special, I explained about a time when I went to see a movie. A couple came in the movie. They had their phones on them. They were talking on their phones for about half an hour, 45 minutes. Then ultimately they left the movie and it was distracting to see. So I actually have a worst experience. I'm going to share it with you guys, but I actually want to make kind of like a parody video of this, and that will give more context about the display, because I'm going to try and explain this in the best way I physically can. Firstly, best theatre experience for me would be, I can't pinpoint an exact experience simply because I have some very fond memories of when I was growing up as like a younger kid going into my teenage years and having those amazing memories with my mum. So my mum would always, and my mum and dad would treat me when they could to go see a movie as part of like a family bundle. So I'd go with maybe like my mum, my older brother, my younger brother, or my mum, me, and my younger brother, and we would go see a movie. At that time we wanted to go see like Spider-Man 2, for example, or Superman Returns. I know Superman Returns isn't a great movie, but like those memories for me are kind of some of my best ones because I still remember them, and those are kind of experiences that also kind of built me up as a young kid loving movies. In terms of worst experience, I've had a couple where I've sat in the front row, but one that's happened, I don't know if this is my worst ever experience, but definitely up there, is very recently I went to see a movie last year. I believe it was last year, Jungle Cruise. I'm sure you guys may have seen that as well. So what happened was, I was maybe like 2 minutes late for the review, for the movie starting. So I appreciate, by all means, I was late to the movie. So, you know, that's on me. But at the same time, I didn't go in there. I didn't have my phone flashing or the torch on to try and find my seat. Obviously, you know, I know it's a little bit illuminated on the aisles, but, you know, it's quite hard to see your seat. Anyway, what happened was, I went in. I was kind of like maybe 3 rows back from the back, because I like to try to sit towards the back of the screen if I can help it, or worst case in the middle. I don't like the front rows or even the first couple of rows after the front at all. If I can help it, I always try and go towards the back, personal preference. But anyway, it was about 3 rows down as you go into the out from the back, sorry. And anyway, there was a bald guy sat on the end. Sorry, no, there was a couple sat in the end. Then there was an empty seat. Then there was a man, a bald man. Then there was 2 empty seats, and then there was 3 teenage girls. So my seat was located right next to these 3 teenage girls. And then the guy, as I was coming in, he's like, "Oh, mate, well, you can just sit here, like next to him." So, well, I thought, well, my seat's like one opposite that next to these girls, and that is my seat. And if anyone else is late, like maybe say I was, because that does happen in movie experiences, then I could be sitting in someone else's seat and I'm going to be asked to move along anyway. So long story short is basically what happened was, this guy, this is no word of a lie, and I try not to say something to people in movie experiences, like if they've got their phones out, because at the end of the day, it's kind of common sense and courtesy to not have your phone out and a bright flashing light in front of people when they're trying to watch the movie. Anyway, every 2 seconds, and I'm not kidding you, sorry, not every 2 seconds, but every minute. See, this is his phone, right? He would have his phone, he'd put it down like this so the bright light wasn't on. Every minute, he'd have it on like this, look at his phone, click the lock button, back down. Now, this happened for the duration of the movie, right? So firstly, I've got this guy on my left. Sorry, my left is this way for you guys. But anyway, so that happened every single minute, right? So every single minute of the movie, for 1 minute, like every minute come, he'd have his phone on, turn it off. But again, it was a bright screen. Now, the girls, on the other hand, were talking among themselves. for the entire movie. So I had this guy to my left flashing the screen. I had these girls to my right talking. Then also the girl every minute as well. The phone, bright light flashing, who was sat next to me as well, down. A minute later, light, down. So for the entire movie, two ends of me had their phones flashing every single minute. Then the girls were talking to themselves as well. So I couldn't really hardly fully concentrate on Jungle Cruise. And then also what also happened towards the end of the time as well is the guy leaned over like this and he was talking to the girl, seeing everything was okay. So I'm pretty sure he was maybe one of the girl's dad or a relative of some sort, asking if they're okay. And I was thinking, well, why don't I know you're trying to play like the cool relative here by keeping your distance, but why not just sit with them? Let me sit next to the couple at the end, and I won't have to see flashing screens in both my directions. So that was truly an off-putting. So I hope that helps, and sorry for the long answer. I've got quite a few more questions. So yeah, guys, I'm just going to say I've got about maybe about 7 questions here. So anyone who leaves questions in, I'll try to answer them quickly, but I am going to be wrapping this up very, very shortly because I do have to go, and it's like just after 10:30 at night here, so I need to kind of settle down and need to go for a shower and stuff like that and get some grub. So yeah, anyway, let me answer this. What is your favorite movie genres? So for me, I like any genres. I would say kind of my go-tos is horror. I love horror. I also love kind of like a good like adventure movie and a comedy and a drama. I love a good drama. And also recently I've been getting into musicals as well. I can't beat a good musical. So category says for me, I don't tend to find things hard to watch apart from Black Swan and a couple of scenes in Titanic. I've never seen Titanic. I've heard that's kind of like a bit of a mixed movie, like a crazy movie. Never seen it, but I'll get and check it out. But yeah, completely kind of understand maybe about Black Swan. I've heard bits and pieces about that as well. D says, is there any movie trailers that always bring back the initial excitement from when you first saw them? Batman Begins, definitely. I would say movie trailers is, Spider-Man No Way Home. That trailer for me. Now, I've seen that movie. I love it. But the trailer really had me hyped because for anyone like myself who watched the original Spider-Man movies back then, I personally never would think we'd ever get Alfred Molina back as Doc Ock or Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin. And that trailer where it hypes them up, that is goosebumps right there. 3D movie cinema. Hey, Jacob, how's it going, man? So what's up, Mike? Good luck and congrats. Well, firstly, thanks for the kind messages. Jacob has got a cool channel. I know he's recently rebranded as 3D movie cinema. I know he's recently got like a green screen stuff to try different his content as well over on his channel. Cool guy. Also loves board games. So yeah, definitely go check him out as well. Playtendo says, thanks ever so much for the shout out. I would like to invite you on a future live stream if you're free on a Wednesday night. Yeah, man, hook me up. I'm on social media, so Instagram is just _Mike JZ if you've got Instagram. Facebook is just Mike Zara. Yeah, man, feel free to reach out to, and if you want me in a live stream, happy to partake on one. At the end of the day, I love talking to people. I love talking to anyone in general. And yeah, I'd be honored to be on a live stream, and thank you for even considering me to be on a stream. Yeah, hit me up and we'll talk a bit further details and what kind of involves a little bit more, because I've checked out odd ones in the past, but I know you do them every week and I haven't had time to watch every single one yet. So yeah, hit me up. Definitely be interested though. So thank you very much. D Movie Man says, what's a film you loved in a genre you're not the biggest fan of, and a film you didn't care for in a genre you love? Okay, cool question. So a film I loved in a genre that I'm not the biggest fan of. So for me, hold on, I've got like a bit of a physical media collection up here. Okay. I love these tough questions, by the way, because it really, really makes me think. I would say a movie that I loved in a genre I'm not the biggest fan of. So for me, for a while, I wasn't a huge fan of musicals. So at the time, I wasn't a big fan of musicals. But when I saw The Sound of Music in the cinema, by the way, which did also include like the break in between, like it originally did back in its original theater experience, that really helped change my mindset on musicals. And now I love musicals. So back then, though, I wasn't a huge fan, but I wanted to educate. And I always like to try to educate myself on all the movies. And that's why I have a segment on my channel called Classic Movie Trip. So when a cinema near me shows an older movie, I like going to see an older movie to firstly check out that for the first ever time and also experience that on the big screen, but also have a different viewpoint on that. And a movie you didn't care for and a genre you love. Well, I love horror, and I've been getting far more into horror in the last couple of years thanks to my partner. A movie I didn't love, Slenderman. Terrible, terrible movie. And I want to enjoy it because I know that there's a lot of lore about it, and I know that there's like a lot of like kind of like a bit of a cult towards like I don't know if it's based on a true story or like based on like some mythological kind of thing. But yeah, that movie sucks. Really, really does. Classic reviews again. One says, I better head off as I have to edit the video, but it's been amazing to speak to you and keep up the amazing content. Yeah, classic. Awesome talking to yourself as well. Absolute pleasure having you by in this live stream. Thank you for also tuning into this live stream. And also, good luck in your content. I am going to be tuning over to your channel, so keep an eye out for me, leaving some love on your comments and videos. But also, just keep up the amazing work, and also don't let any haters get to you. That's my best advice. D says, as I head out, I'll say I really appreciate all the positivity, support, and community you're establishing with your platform. I believe that what you put out has really come back to you. Be well, man. D, thank you generously for your sincere, kind comments. Honestly, D, I love your content, man. I really, really do. And I also love like the chill music you have in your intros. That's really, really awesome. D is just such like a really cool, classic kind of guy. And sincerely, subscribe to his channel because I know he covers movie reviews. He also covers like a lot of TV episode reviews at the moment of just TV shows that I've never even checked out, and I like watching those because they're like really high in depth thought as well. And D, honestly, man, my personal motto to myself and what I try to embed in anyone who comes across is just I like to promote anyone else who's on YouTube because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We all create content, whether it is similar with movie reviews or like myself, Back to the Future, or like with you, like I know you do like TV reviews, for example. Playtendo guy who's also joining here, likes doing like video game reviews and stuff like that. I like shouting out everyone because everyone has different content on their channel. And that's what makes them their own different personalities. So if I can shout anyone out and help anyone, then I will certainly do so. But thank you for the kind comments. Playtendo guy says, favorite stream, you're so upbeat and a joy to watch. Keep up superb work on your channel and have a great weekend. Hey, man, well, thank you very much for the kind comment. Same to you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. And it's also nice to support a fellow UK YouTuber as well. Thank you very much for tuning into the stream. I always try to be positive, man. Like the thing is for me, like whether it's YouTube or whether it's something outside of YouTube, it's so easy to like get down or like get yourself in a mind space where not so positive as such and have those moments where we have our downtime. But for me, life's too short, as corny as that may sound, or cheesy as that sounds. Like it is too short. And for me, I always try be upbeat and stay upbeat and kind of pass that on to everyone as well. Because at the end of the day, like our channels are all here and it is a representation of our own passions. And if we can display that, then all credit to me and anyone who can do it. But yeah, guys, I've been going for about an hour and 42 minutes now. I am going to wrap this up right now. So I want to thank everyone once again for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I sincerely never thought I'd reach that milestone ever in my life. But thank you so much. Here is to the next milestone, whatever that case should be. If you guys want to see more live streams though, however, please let me know in the comments on this chat or on one of my videos, or reach out to me on social media. The links should be in the description box below as well. Thank you all just truly so much for your support. And I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart because, as I mentioned, I made YouTube as a passion, as a creative outlet for myself. And I appreciate one person tune into my channel and view my video, but never mind 1,000 subscribers. That to me baffles and blows my mind every single day. I truly am thankful for every single one of you. Whether you tune into every video, whether you tune into a video now and then, whether you tune into a video a week, whatever the case should be, or whatever ratio it should be, or whether you're brand new to the channel for that matter, I truly, sincerely appreciate you all. This has been truly a blast. Some awesome and amazing questions. And thank you so much if you tune in live or after the fact. I'm now going to be signing off. But again, thank you so much to every single person who's left a comment or who's even just tuned in and maybe not left a comment. Thank you so much. I will do a live stream at some point again in the future. But until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.